Let's bring in National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett. Great to see you, Kevin. Thank you for joining us. So what do you expect in that consumer confidence number? Because there have been some sort of rattled nerves out there in recent weeks.
Well, I think that the economic news that we've been seeing is really wonderful. It's way above expectation of economists. If you go back to the jobs numbers last week, where we had a big positive surprise, 10,000 manufacturing jobs, 9,000 auto jobs, and then you see the inflation number today, the lowest core inflation in 4 years, you could see that President Trump's policies are working, and they're working already. And one of the things that you can see is that it's affecting mortgage markets. This is something that you guys just talked about, because the reason the mortgage markets are responding that way is that people know that we're not going to be printing money and spending like drunken sailors up on the hill, where we've got like a really great Doge practice going in to reduce government spending, and we've got a budget deal that we're actually negotiating later today. All that stuff is moving everything in the positive direction, and it'll show up in the real data, but also in consumer sentiment. And you know, absolutely, the numbers are way above expectation. And I can tell you too, Martha, as you know, it was covered in the Wall Street Journal. I've had about a dozen meetings with CEO because they're all in town for the Business Roundtable meeting, and everybody is saying that the economy is looking very, very solid right now.
Well, we hope that is true. Everybody wants the economy to be strong. A couple of specific questions for you when you look at this. You know, when you talk about consumer confidence, what signs do you see that it's improving? And that number's coming out. Do you have a number expectation that you are looking for there? And what is it?
The thing that I care most about is the hard data. The consumer confidence numbers can sometimes fluctuate around elections, for example, because of people whose party lost or are really in a bad mood, and they say, oh, things are just terrible. You know, the guy I didn't vote for is going to destroy the economy. But then when it doesn't happen, people get around. And so I don't actually put a lot of faith in the consumer confidence numbers right around election times. And there's something, there's a big literature on this.
Yeah, but we're pretty far past the November election. And I think you're going to probably get some indication of how people are feeling. We've been looking at the markets. They're all in the green right now. You've got 62% of Americans who are invested in the market, so they do care about what's happening with that. So if you don't want to give me an expectation for a number there.
Oh, yeah, I'm still, again, well, I'll give you an expectation that GDP growth is going to be 2.5% in the first quarter at least. But in terms of what the consumer confidence numbers say, again, so for example, the Michigan survey was really not that good, but there are a lot of Michigan people doing the survey that I don't necessarily think we're doing anything other than making a partisan survey.
Let me ask you about this, because the question is, we heard Howard Lutnick moments ago talking about if you make it here, there is no inflation on that number because there's no tariff on those numbers. Can you give me an estimate, or will the White House be putting forward a plan for building here in America? Is there sort of like an 18-month, I think about the ramp up after World War II or before World War II, when we were, industrially very weak on the war front. Can you project that there's going to be a project like that will not make it take forever for these manufacturing plants to get up and running here in the United States?
Right. Well, indeed, it's already happening, right? We saw the 9,000 auto jobs made in February because what's happening is the auto manufacturers are deciding we're going to have to ramp up production in the U.S., and they have ways to do it before they build a factory because they could have people work overtime and so on. Especially, President Trump doesn't want to tax the overtime. And so there's a lot of production that's happening onshore. And so I think we're very, very bullish on, job creation in the U.S. because of this. And you're already seeing it in the numbers.
All right. It's good to speak to you. I want to ask you one last question. These Politico headlines, Trump allies blaming Lutnick for Trump's tariff turmoil. A lot of 5 sources, I guess they had in that story, saying that there's finger pointing going on towards Howard Lutnick, who was just on earlier with Varney, as this Trump tariff issue makes people unsettled.
No, I 100% disagree. Howard basically hangs out in my office almost every day, and he and I disagree and agree, but, in the end, we're all pursuing the president's agenda, and we're doing it with a single mind. And so I didn't think the story held any water at all. In fact, there were a lot of things that it said that were completely inconsistent with my experience. In fact, I just had a great long meeting with Howard and the rest of the trade team just today, and we were very collegially working together.
Well, thank you for taking the opportunity to fill us in on how that's going.
Thanks.
Kevin, thank you. As always, we'll look for that confidence number. We'll see how it goes, but some good numbers today that you almost feel pretty good about, and the market in the green as well. Thank you, Kevin. Good to see you. Take care.